أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله أصحابه أجمعين. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So I know you're fasting, but you don't have to sound like it. Like you're like, oh my God, is he really going to do this now before iftar? Yes, I am. Look at your table. The good news is there's food within reach. How much time, Samir, before the Maryland time? I'm in Virginia. So what's the exact time so people can get 6:08, mashallah. So Imam Safi signs off at saying 6:08. And then just to be sure, so that you don't think we are forgot that it's Ramadan, the iftar food on the table. And then after we pray Maghrib, believe it or not, we have palaw rice, chicken kebab, lamb curry, chana masala, naan, salad, and raita. All of that is there waiting for you. All you need to do, inshallah, is to help us raise $200,000. Did you guys hear me? All right. So here's why we are here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed 30 years ago, and this is the third event I have been in the last few months where the Muslim organizations are talking about anniversaries. Uh-oh, I already made a baby cry. That's not good. Usually they cry like a little bit after into my speech. All right. So 1995 was a major turning point in the Muslim community. We had been here 25, 30 years prior to that. The change in the immigration law caused by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want you to always say that to yourselves. We think sometimes what's happening in the government with policy is just something that's happening, and we forget the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge at every single. And because of that, in 1965, the change in the immigration law, well, let me quiz you because I'm a professor. What else was happening in America around 1965? If you're from Howard, you can, Dr. Nisa. What else? Is it me or is the microphone fasting too? Is it like going in and out? Is it going in and out? It sounds like it, right? What's happening in 1965? Do you remember that? Anybody? Yeah, no, don't take a guess. Be firm. It's the civil rights movement. And it's literally on the backs of the civil rights movement. MashaAllah. Thank you so much. I thought I had to fundraise for a new mic. Right on the backs of the civil rights movement, there is this change in immigration policy. I have another lecture, which we won't do today, which is why the immigrant community in America has to be eternally grateful to the African American community for our arrival into this country. Just keep that in mind, because for 7 centuries, Islam has been in America, starting with the arrival of the first of the enslaved West Africans, where the history books tell us 1 out of 4 of every enslaved person most likely was Muslim. So the religion has been here, transmitted through the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the African American community. It's in the DNA of that community, and then it comes by us in 1965. So when you see and look back, I am truly honored to be here today, and I don't say this everywhere I go. I've actually been able to witness 27 years of that 30-year journey of Dar-us-Salaam, having arrived within Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. to start my PhD at Howard University. And one of the first institutions I immediately was attracted to was Dar-us-Salaam Al-Huda School. Within a matter of months, my entire family had shifted their plans, including my sister Sakina, her husband Omar Saloom. Their boys moved from Michigan to Maryland to be able to attend Al-Huda School. Ultimately, every single one of her boys, 2 out of 3 of them completed Hifz here. The third one, by the time they moved back, completed in Michigan. And this is why it's a very personal connection to me. So when I ask you to support the school, to support Dar-us-Salaam, it's not an abstract concept. It's not something that's of distance. It's actually saying to you, when do you want and how do you want the Quran to come to life? You look at the activities and the projects of Dar-us-Salaam. Tonight, we're raising money for operations. Operations to me is the least of the actual concerns that the shura should have, that the principal of the school should have, that the students should have, that the teachers should have. Why? Because the products of this institution are not only affecting the DMV area, but by the time the graduates move on to go to college, to get married, to get a job, to live anywhere, either in these United States or around the world, they are carrying with them the message that was generated and nurtured right here in Dar-us-Salaam. So to the founders who had that vision, to the sister who wrote the proposal, all of us together, praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, takbir. You sound like you were distracted, like you were not really with me. I thought for the 30th anniversary, that would have been a resounding takbir. Let's try that again, takbir. This is why I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has picked you and selected you to be here wherever you are sitting, whichever table at which you are. However many times you tried to look to see your friends and family, wherever you landed today, it was already written. Whatever we're going to raise tonight has already been written. Not a penny more or less be raised other than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already written. And you have to ask yourself, what can I and those who are not here? Believe me, I don't say a thing without myself doing it. Right before I came up, I messaged my sister, her children, the alums, with the link for the donation, and I want you to do the same thing. I want you to go to WhatsApp, where most Muslims live. Is there someone in the room who's not on WhatsApp? Because we will add you. You can't get away from WhatsApp. It's part of the culture of being a Muslim in America, right? So when I start to ask for money, go back to the Quran. Go back to Ar-Razzaq, one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Go back to Surah Baqarah, right in the beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I'm giving you a book about which there is no doubt. You are going to be among those who believe in the unseen. By the way, I got really freaked out. How many of you got freaked out when Dr. Haroon started speaking and no one could see him? And then he has that voice that could actually put you to sleep, right? The soothing voice. And I'm like, I'm starting to get really tired and I need to speak soon. And mashallah, the game ended. I could actually wake back up, right? So he's a comforting voice, mashallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying what? وَمِمَّا Egyptian imams do this. Let me see if you're paying attention, if you've heard an Egyptian imam. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ. Oh, you're nervous about fundraising, I can tell. You think that if you respond, somehow the money's going to leave your wallet. I'm just asking you to respond. The imams know what they're saying. Sometimes they'll just do Kul hu Allahu, because they just want you to pay attention. It's like kind of a weird like tradition to see if you're awake. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ. You don't spend out of the vacuum. So glad Imam Safi acknowledged the fact that there are brothers and sisters in our community losing jobs. Losing jobs because of the policies of the current administration. But they are not worried. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge. He already said it in the Quran. قُلْ إِنَّ رَبِّي يَبْسُطُ رِزْقًا لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِي. Say to them, it is my Lord who expands the sustenance of whomever He wills. وَيَقْدِرُ لَهُ. And He also constricts the sustenance of whomever He wills. But the amazing thing is what? وَمَا أَنْفَقْتُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَهُوَ. That one you're really nervous to say. He says, whatever you spend, He will replace it. Abu Huraira reminds us, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, alayhi salatu wasalam, said, the two angels who record every morning what the servant is spending, the two angels make dua and imagine how beautiful, It is to have an angel make dua for you. The amount is not specified. Whatever you donate, the angels say, Allahumma aati munfikan khalafa. Oh Allah, give to the person something in place of what they have spent. For the sake of time, I'm going to move the $200,000 goal to $25,000. Either you have it, you have installments to make in the coming year, or you say that inshallah, I will raise my hand, but I will get friends and family to support me. So 24 others will do 1,000 each, but I will take the responsibility. Suppose you only raise half of it. Suppose you only raise 5,000 and people didn't respond. Dar-us-Salaam has many departments. It does not have a security department to come and say to you, you owe the rest of the money. They will thank you for raising 5,000 that they did not have before. Is there one brother or sister? Tonight, mashallah, takbir. Now you sound like you're really fasting. Let's try that again. Somebody among us just gave away from what Allah blessed them with, $25,000, 1/8 of our goal tonight. And I'm saying to you, glorify our Lord, takbir. Allahumma ati munfikan khalafa, say ameen. MashaAllah, may Allah replace except from them. And sometimes you'll wonder, where did that hand come from? It is not like moon sighting. I will only say takbir when I see a hand. So don't get surprised when I say takbir. I've seen the hand and I've confirmed it, then I'll make a dua. Is there someone else who says we were not thinking about doing this? Maybe an individual, a group of friends, a local business that says, I will take care of the second 25,000, bringing us that much closer to our $200,000 goal. Second hand at 25 before I move on. 25 once, 25 twice, twice and a half, khair inshallah, no problem at all. And by the way, on your table, you have this card, which is our donation card. It has a QR code. Muslims have figured out the most painless way to give. Take out your phone, point at the QR code, and the money leaves your account. We don't know how it happens. It just leaves, right? So there's a QR code. You can also do cash, of course, and checks. It's written there how to do that. All right. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on, inshallah, because we are trying our best to get this done before. What is the iftar time tonight? Who remembers? Yes, the Fajr and Maghrib of Ramadan are the most remembered prayer times around the world. When to stop eating and when to start eating. May Allah help our ummah. Say Ameen. MashaAllah, it's for you. All right. I'm going to move from 25 for the sake of time to 10,000. But I would like to see several hands. Either you have it, do it in installments, or be a person of ambassador of goodwill for Dar-us-Salaam. Say to the people you're texting and messaging, join me. Let's together try to make dua to be in Dar-us-Salaam, inshallah. Where is my first hand for $10,000? The thermometer is up. Okay, so Samir is letting me know the thermometer is up. Where is my first hand for $10,000? A brother, a sister, a group of friends. You are all on WhatsApp. All we are saying is go to WhatsApp and let the friends and family know, can we please together raise 10,000? Each of us gives 500, 1,000, however you get it done. First hand for 10,000. Operations is what keeps the machine moving. And we have to raise it in Ramadan because that's the special time when people give. We make dua for ourselves and of course for Allah blessed us with, and also for the people who are working so hard to make all of the projects of Dar-us-Salaam possible. First hand for 10,000. First hand for 10,000. Brothers or sisters, a group of friends. Where are you tonight? 10,000. And you might be wanting to give quietly, which is why that number will keep going up, which is no problem. But if you raise your hand, you motivate others. Somebody who was thinking about giving sees you. That's how the competition between Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu happened. That's what they were doing, competing with each other, absolutely not showing off. Our Lord, who knows us well, mentions in the same verse, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ سِرًّا وَعَلَانِيَةً. Those who spend of their wealth by night and by day, in secret and also in public. Both have the same reward. فَلَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. All right? So we are just at 60,000 now. And you may be not wanting to raise your hands. No problem. I'll just keep reminding you, and I'm hoping you're using the QR code. If you want to make a pledge, then just raise your hand to ask and give the card to one of the volunteers who are walking around. And inshallah, they will bring me the card. If you want to remain anonymous, I'll just announce the amount to encourage others. And then inshallah, we'll continue to make dua. And anonymous doesn't mean we don't know you. Of course, we know who you are. The angels are recording to the same dua. Allahumma ati fikan khalafa. All right? So another reason why we are here, what we're doing. We are trying to successfully participate in the intergenerational transfer of our faith. None of this will matter. Believe me, over 3,000 masajid in America, literally every night a new community is forming or expanding and trying to make a new masjid. None of that will matter. Mark my words. If we have no one there to fill the masajid between 20 to 30 years from now, why? And you don't think it'll happen in this land? Muslims arrived in the late 1800s and early 1900s in these United States. We know that for a fact. Not many of them are traceable now because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had willed that somehow their intergenerational transfer of the faith was not completed. Allah only knows how and why in His wisdom. We are the test of that time. All right? So we are moving up to 70, 130 left. And as we are keeping track of time, inshallah, we'll never go past the actual time. We have 8 minutes. Does anyone feel motivated to encourage people to give at 5,000? Maybe the 10,000 was not within reach. Would you support with 5,000? As I continue with the messaging, I also want to remind you what we are doing. So we're at 71, inshallah. Anyone at 5,000? A brother, a sister, mashallah. Brother Mahmoud. So this is why it's good to park your car and walk with the people and get to know their names, mashallah. He has 2 children in preschool. All of that from just a walk from the car in the parking lot, mashallah. My first, number 5. Allahumma ati munfiqin khalafa, say ameen. Mashallah, 5,000. Anyone else? 10 sisters. Go to WhatsApp and say 500 each, 250 each, 100 each. Can your group, I'm finding all kinds of WhatsApp groups. In Texas, they have brisket groups. That's all they do. They get around and they get together to eat brisket, right? So they have a WhatsApp group for brisket. What is your WhatsApp group that you are messaging, right? For 5,000. So I have one hand at 5,000. Any other hands at 5,000? A brother or a sister? Sisters, we haven't seen your hands go up yet. We know that the mothers of the believers, Ummahat al-Mu'mineen, they were very generous. And we know your network is strong, mashallah. And so your job, inshallah, is to say, let me go on WhatsApp and activate that network and say to them, here's the link. If they open the link, you get a reward. If they give, you get a reward. Everyone benefits, inshallah, from spreading the word and spreading the link. So this intergenerational transfer of faith, the research tells us, and I'm concluding one study now through Howard University where I am an associate professor, on about 600-700 Muslim youth, the data collection is done. If children, generally, the research tells us, have a positive relationship with their religion at a young age, that positive relationship, positive memories, helps them stay practicing when they're no longer with their guardians, parents, and others, in college, when they move away for a job, when they get married, and so forth. This is an investment. Dar-us-Salaam is that investment, right? So we've now passed 76, but I'm hoping that you will see, inshallah, if not before iftar, right, and make dua. This is the best time to make dua, and then be selfish as you make the dua. Say to Allah, I'm sending a donation. I'm spending in your path, but this is my personal dua. This is what I need in my life. Some of the lessons that Imam Sabri mentioned in the beginning of the evening, right? If you're having struggles with personal habits, make dua to Allah and say, help me with that personal habit, Ya Rab. Here's my donation. Here, I'm going to the QR code. I'm making a pledge. I'm doing it however I can, right? Any other hands at 5,000? I'm hoping before iftar we'll clear the 100,000 mark, right? And so go to the, use the QR code or raise your hand and do a pledge. Any other 5,000s before I move on? Clearly, many of you are giving because that number keeps going up, and it's based on the direct link, the link and the counting of the link, right? Any other hands at 5,000? 5,000 once, twice, khair inshallah, no problem at all. And who are these children that we're trying to, to raise and focus on? These are Muslim American children. You saw 3 of them today, Ahlam, Ahmed, and Yusra, mashallah. And I am old enough to have attended Yusra's parents' wedding, mashallah. And so I even knew them separately before marriage. That's why I was upset. When the Kahoot came around, I was expecting him to say Abu Yusra is his nickname. Instead, he puts Ridwan because he wanted the prize. I'm like, the only reason you're here is because of your daughter, right? So let's talk about that, right? So these are beautiful Muslim American children. Around the country, I see them with confidence. They're filling up most of the masajid in Ramadan. They're the ones struggling and pushing to be in the front row. They're the ones trying to make dua. They're the ones memorizing the Quran. Where did that come from? It came from one of the projects, and Dar-us-Salaam started as the Quran Institute. It is one of the many beautiful projects in this area. 2,500 is your family basically saying we will not eat in a restaurant once or twice in a month. We will save the $100 or $200 a month that we spend to eat outside, and we'll give that to Dar-us-Salaam for operations. Believe me, I'm married, mashallah, tabarakallah, with 4 children. It's a busy life. Inevitably, we're buying food from outside, and then I'm shy to tell my mother that we ate out. I'm mashallah, old enough not to have to worry, but when she says, what'd you eat? I go, oh, something, right? If you want to donate 2,500, do think about this. Let's spend from that which you love. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. We all love to eat. Save some of that money, donate it to the operations. MashaAllah, we're approaching 85, 15 shy, with about 3 minutes to go from the iftar time. Right? I'm moving from 2,500, and I'm hoping that $3 a day is the investment for the operations. If you pray Jummah at Dar-us-Salaam, treat it as a 1 credit hour course. How much does it cost in a local community college? 52 weeks of khutbahs are 52 lectures for the 1 credit hour course. You have the salah, you have the khutbah, which is the lecture, and the salah, which is the practical or the lab part of it. How much would you pay for 1 credit hour? If you can pay 20 a week, that's about a $1,000 donation. How many hands? And my own family will start off with the first hand at 1,000. How many of you will join us, inshallah, to say that we will not only surpass 100,000, but inshallah approach the 200 before iftar in the next two minutes at $1,000. Where's 2, 3, mashallah, 4, mashallah? Where are the others? Sisters, I know you're sitting separate. If you get motivated, brothers, if you get motivated, just donate and then message your wife or your husband and say, may Allah accept it from us, and then turn off your phone. It'd be very cute. Yeah, what should he accept? How much is he accepting? Right? MashaAllah. And I can counsel you. I'm in social work, inshallah. All right. So another last minute. Any other 1,000s? Any other 1,000s? Right? We're going to come back to you while you're eating, believe me. I have nowhere to go, no flight to catch. I live in Virginia, so I'm here for the night, right? So we're not leaving till we get the 200,000. Any other 1,000s before I conclude this part? 1,000 once, while the asking is being done. Inshallah, we'll come back to you just after iftar. But don't forget to make dua in this last minute. I will pause here to allow you to make that dua for yourselves. For yourselves in the last few seconds, make dua for whatever it is that you need from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Barakallahu Feekum. So nothing else will be said inshallah now until you make dua before the adhan.